Hey y'all, so today I want to talk about something that I get asked all the time in my education group, and that is if we are people-centered photographers, meaning we expose in camera to make sure our subjects are properly exposed. They're not too dark, they're not too bright. If we do that in camera, then what do we do when the sky is blown out behind them? So I get asked this question a lot. A lot of people ask, like, do you bring your photos into Photoshop in order to do a sky replacement? The answer is no. I love Lightroom and I do majority of my stuff in Lightroom. There's some things that I bring my pictures into Photoshop for, but honestly, I like to keep majority of my stuff done in Lightroom. It's just easier for me. So I am going to show you today how I go ahead and bring the sky back using the graduated filter in Lightroom. Now, I have already edited these pictures. These first three are mine, and then these two are photographers that are in my education group. This one is Tammy's, and this one is Caitlin's. They're both like super pretty images. I'm excited to show you guys like how we bring this guy back. I'm pretty confident. Like you can see it's like really blown out there. She's properly exposed, but it is very blown out back there. This may be a boat or something back there. I'm excited to see what that is when we bring back this guy, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to bring all that stuff back. Same thing with this one. You can't even see the ocean behind them anymore. So I'm pretty confident that I can bring that one back as well. I'm excited to show you guys what we do here. But I've applied the Ashley Ammons preset to all of these as a base and then edited a little bit just accordingly, just because of like, white balance and light and, camera settings and stuff. Sometimes you have to change a little bit and tweak a little bit of things. But if you are interested in the Ashley Ammons preset, it is in my shop. And if you would like to see what your image looks like using my preset, just send me a message and we can go ahead and get that taken care of. I'll send you a video on how I do it, and I'll send you the final image as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the first one. Here we go. Perfect. Oh, come on. There we go. Leave it to my Lightroom, you know what I mean? So again, I've already tweaked this. I've already edited it the way I want to, but I did underexpose this just a tad. This is before with my before I put my preset on there, and I want to show you guys what the sky looked like. At the time, it was towards the end of our session, and honestly, the kids were playing so hard in the water, and I wasn't trying to miss a beat. So I didn't I didn't slow down my shutter speed like I should have here. If you look, yep, my shutter speed was pretty high. So I should have lowered it a little bit so that way they were properly exposed. But honestly, in the moment, I'd much rather have caught these little moments than I did caring about my settings at that point in time. But after I played my preset, I've brightened everything up, but we have lost a lot of that detail in the sky. So how I do this is I'm going to go ahead and apply the graduated filter. And that's this button right here. Now, if I'm talking about any of these sliders in this section and you have no idea what I'm talking about or why I chose that slider to change, please think about investing in my my editing course, my mini editing course. I literally go through every single slider and all of these tools in Lightroom. And it's just something that I felt like I YouTubed a lot of, like, why would I change my shadows over my exposure? Or why would I move my highlights? Why am I moving the whites and blacks and such? What is this clarity and dehaze button for? So it was a lot of research on my end, and I just made a solid course for you guys all to watch and learn from. So all in one spot. But anyways, let's go ahead and move forward. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do show selected mask overlay, and this is going to show you where our filter is, or you can hit O on your keyboard. I'm going to come up here to the very top, and I'm going to bring it down to about the horizon line. So right there. Now, if you notice, this red is now hitting our subjects and hitting the houses. So whatever is in red is going to be affected by whatever you do to change this. So I'm going to hit O, and I'm going to bring the exposure all the way down. So you can see here that because they're being affected in the red, that they are now, the exposure is all the way down on them. So keep that in mind of whatever we do in here is going to do that until we take it off of our subjects. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do that after we have brought the sky back. So again, I'm pushing O on my keyboard and then I'm going to take it off just so I can see what I'm doing. The first thing that I do is I actually go over here to the Darken Tool, and that is going to automatically bring my exposure down by 0.3, so it's going to be negative 0.3. And then what I'm going to do is, this is where my secret sauce is. I am going to up the dehaze. And my dehaze is always somewhere between like 8 and I don't go over 20, just because like if you bring it up too much, you see what it does here. So you don't want it to look fake. The whole point of this is to make it look as natural as possible. So I don't go over 20 normally. Are there some circumstances that I might have to go a little bit higher? Sure. But rule of thumb, I don't try and go over 20. So we're actually going to start this probably about like 10, good solid middle. So if you notice here, I'm going to show you guys. This is before and that's after. So you can already see where I'm getting a little bit more details and stuff back. So even with the dehaze, that's before the dehaze and that's after. And you see how we're getting color back, we're getting little details back and everything. The next thing that I'm going to do is lower these highlights. And I start slow at first. I'll probably do like about negative 15. I know it's at negative 16, but it's close enough. And what this is going to do is bring, again, a lot more details back to the sky. From here, I don't like how dark it is up here, so I'm actually going to up the shadows just a tad. And I might do that. Yeah, make it a little bit lighter. So there we go. So that's what I would do. And that sky looks great to me. It looks very much like the original. I mean, pretty on point there. So from here, if we wanted to add a little bit more, a little bit more pop, you can go up here to the temperature and tint. So again, we don't want to do extremes because if we do extremes, it doesn't look real. So I mess with this very slightly just to bring back a little bit of color. So here we're going to go ahead and start with like negative 5-ish. And then I also like to bring a little bit of pink because at sunset, it does become a little bit pink. So I'll probably do about there. And then to me, that is perfect. I love that sky. But again, what we have done is affected our kids and we have affected the houses and everything. So we want to make sure we get that off. So I'm going to go ahead and push O again, and I'm going to hit brush. I'm going to come down here to erase. And then if we want to make our brush bigger or smaller, we can use this button right here, or we use 2 fingers on our keyboard and go up to make it bigger and down to make it smaller. And that's on a Mac. And I'm just going to start erasing everything, the red touches that I don't want. And then we're going to make this smaller. We're going to zoom in. And we're going to erase it on him. Now this, I'm normally a little bit more detailed with this eraser, but right now, so I do want to show you guys, if I do too much here, what happens is it creates like a halo effect. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. You can't, but see, do you see how it created like a little halo effect around him? We don't want that. So that's why it's very important that you just get their faces and their hair and stuff and try really hard not to get over in the sky. We don't want that. All right, let's do this again. So we're just gonna go ahead and erase. And again, this is just, oh, I gotta do erase. All right, and this is just gonna be a very quick one so I can show you guys the other images. Perfect. Great. All right, and there we go. Completely done. So this was before and that's after, bringing it back. Awesome. So let's see if we can go a little bit faster with this one. Again, this one is already edited. I am going to just bring back the sky a little bit because it was, oh, I don't know why it's not showing before, but it was a pretty blue sky that day. So I'm just going to push, do my graduated filter, push O to make sure that I can see what I'm doing. Here we're going to go ahead and bring the dehaze. I'm going to start with like 20 here, just because, let's see here. We'll bring that down just a little bit. We're going to bring this dehaze down just a little bit. And then We're going to bring the highlights down. Here we go. And then we'll bring the temperature down just a tad. It's a little bit bluer, a little bit pinker, and just a little bit. Perfect. I think they're good. All right, so same thing, we're gonna erase. And this is how quickly I go and edit these things. Like, I don't want to think about it too much. I just want it to look natural as possible. So here we go. So that was before, sky gone, bringing it back. And again, it's just to add a little bit of pop of color. It's nothing to be like over dramatic. We don't want the sky to be the place that all of our eyes go to. We want it to still be the people. Do you guys hear my computer? It's like going crazy. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like those reels where like the Mac computer sounds like it's about to blow up whenever you pull up Lightroom, but my computer does that, and every time it starts going, I think about that reel. Okay, this is the last one of mine, so I want to show you guys like what this one looks like. This one we are going to go ahead and do the same thing, graduated filter. And I am going to go ahead and up the dehaze. This one was already like pretty blown out, so I might have to bring up the dehaze a little bit more than I normally do. But we'll start at 25. And then I'm going to bring the exposure down just a little bit more. And I'm going to bring the highlights down significantly. Here we go. We're starting to get a little bit more detail back there now. And then from here, I'm just going to bring a little bit of blue in and bring a lot of pink in because it was a pretty pink day. I might bring the dehaze up just a tad more. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to do the brush and get rid of it on them. Such a cute picture. Oh my goodness. Look at that little smiley babe. Okay. Again, this was a very quick erase job. Perfect. Okay, so we have brought back the sky. So this was before and that's after. And see how it looks? It literally looks like the raw image. But before I did the graduated filter, it was very white. So all we did was bring it back. That's all we did here. All right. So these are the ones I'm pretty excited about because here, this was the before picture. So it really was like very blown out. Okay. So this was after I used my, my preset and everything. And I did a couple adjustments. I warmed it up and everything, but we're going to go ahead and try on Tammy's image to bring back whatever detail we can in that background. So we're going to go ahead and do that graduated filter again. And I'm going to pull it all the way down to like where we can't like see details anymore. So it's going to be about to like right there. And I'm going to push O so I can see what I'm doing. And the first thing that I'm going to do is up the dehaze. And we're going to start around 20 and see what we can do here. Already we're getting a little bit more detail and stuff. And then I'm going to lower the exposure pretty drastically. Probably to about like -80. We'll see how that works. And then now I might change these as we start going because I'm gonna be like, oh, well, no, I don't need it that much. That was a little too dramatic. But I like to go dramatic at first and then start bringing it a little bit less dramatic, more lifelike. So we're going to also lower our highlights because, again, it's still pretty blown out. So we're going to lower our highlights pretty dramatically as well to about there. So now we can kind of like, can you guys see this? Hold on. Ooh. Can you guys see this? Like we're starting to get detail. It was a sailboat. So perfect. Let's see here. And then from here, we're going to bring up the shadows just a little bit. Maybe, there we go. Perfect. From here, like you can go ahead and bring the tint. I wouldn't bring any more blue because the top is very blue already. If you want to like maybe crop it, but I don't think that that's necessary. We could bring it like a little bit more like golden if we want to do something like that. And then we could bring the tint like this. This is absolutely such a beautiful image. So now we're going to go ahead and use the brush and erase it on her because we don't want her to be affected here. Okay. Perfect. So that was before, and this is after. And if we wanted to, if we thought this was a little too dramatic still, I could bring the exposure up just a little bit, which I think is fine. And from here, guys, if you're like, oh, it's still really blown out right through here, which I can definitely tell. She was shooting at a 2.8, so you know, I expect it to be a little fuzzy back there, but we could also use just a brush and we could darken it and lower the shadow or highlights here and just use a brush on top of it to bring a little bit more back. Okay. So perfect. Again, before, after. I love my preset because it just gives like the skin a lot of pop. All right, so that was that one. I'm really excited that I was able to bring that back. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I wasn't 100% confident, but we did it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the last one. This one I'm a little bit nervous about, but we're gonna see what we got, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing that we've been doing and use this graduated filter. And I'm gonna pull it down pretty far because it is definitely, like you can tell right here, it's exposed, it's overexposed in a lot of different ways. Now, one of the biggest reasons why, just so you guys know, in this one, real quick, is because she's using an 85 millimeter. An 85 millimeter naturally makes the background a lot less like creamy and like fuzzy and stuff. And so, assuming it was probably a brighter day out, and she's using an 85 and her aperture is pretty low here, I would expect the background to be like this. So it wasn't anything the photographer did. Honestly, like this was the before shot. She did absolutely fantastic with making sure her people were exposed properly. But, you know, because of that, and then not only because of that, she exposed the people properly, but she was also using an 85. So it definitely made the background a lot more blown out. So what we'll do here is, I don't know why there we go. So the first thing that we're going to do is up the dehaze, and I'm going to, again, up it to about 20, and we're going to see how that one starts first, and then we're going to lower this exposure down pretty significantly again. We'll start at like 80. That sounds good. We'll start at 80. And then we're going to lower these highlights a lot. So already we're seeing a little bit more detail. Do you guys see, like you can see the water line now. So we're going to lower these highlights. Keep going. How far can we lower the highlights? Okay, so now we're getting like this cloud right here. Do y'all see the cloud up here? And we're getting a little bit more details back here. We're gonna actually lower this down. Perfect. So we're getting a lot more detail. So I'm actually gonna up these shadows a little bit. I'm gonna actually up the exposure just a tad too because it looked a little too dark. And then I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and play with the color. I'm going to lower the temperature down. Again, I told you guys I don't do things very dramatically up here with these colors, but because it was so blown out, I might have to be a little bit more dramatic with it. So I could go like and again, please don't look at their skin tones. They're being affected by this, but I could go very golden, but I prefer cooler skies. So I'm going to actually we're gonna start there, and we've like made the we've brought the ocean back. It's a blue color now instead of white, and then I'm gonna bring the tint up just a little bit too, to about there. All right, let's go ahead and take this filter off of these people because it's very distracting. So again, I'm just gonna, normally I would be a lot more, I'm a perfectionist, y'all, so normally with this erase tool, I would be a lot more particular, but this is just to show you guys like how to do this. So, because do you see how like the white is in there and everything? Oh, that might bother me. Let me go back to the brush. Hold on. That might bother me a little bit. There we go. Okay. So if you erase something that you didn't want to, you can go back to like edit and then brush, and then you can brush stuff off. You can also use the feather tool and the flow. The flow is like how intense it is. So if I do this, actually if I lower this, it's like really harsh. But if I up the feather and like lower the flow of it, it's not as harsh. It becomes a little bit lighter. So that's what the brush does with the graduated filter. I don't do it very often unless I've messed up. All right, perfect. So I don't think that I would do much of anything else. I mean, like, I can't believe we brought this back. Like, look at this. Boom. We can, like, again, I told you guys we can like use the brush tool here and like bring this back even more if we wanted to, and even up here. But I don't think that it needs it. Like we can, see, it makes it like brown or black rather. So I don't even think I would do that. I think I would keep it the way it is. But we were able to bring it back a little bit. I might actually pull this up a little bit so it's not like as blue. Perfect. Yeah. Y'all, I can't believe we were able to bring that back. So this was before. This is how she sent it to me with the raw, and that is after. So that is how I bring back skies in Lightroom. If you guys have any questions, comment below, or reach out to me, join my education group, and let me know. I would love to hear them. I also would love to see if this video was helpful for you guys. And if not, then I will see you guys next time. Bye.